how do we see? The four major steps in seeing an object are as follow. The first step is entry of light rays. Light rays reflected from the object enter the eyes through the following transparent structures. It moves through conjunctiva, conjunctiva to cornea. From cornea, it enter aqueous humor present in the aqueous chamber. From there to lens, and from lens to vitreous humor present inside the vitreous chamber, and in this way at last it reaches the retina where the image is formed. The sequential order for this path is very important. Again I repeat, the light rays reflected by the object enter our eye through conjunctiva to cornea to aqueous humor to lens and then to vitreous humor, and at last it reaches the retina. Now look at the shape of the cornea. It is convex. So when light ray enter our eye, it is converged by this cornea to some extent so that it can enter the lens. Now the biconvex lens of our eye converge it more to form its image over the retina. So that is the second point, focusing of image. The curvature of the cornea converges the light to some extent and the lens converge it further to form the image on the retina. The image which is formed on retina is real and inverted. It is also very important. The image on the retina is inverted and real. Now this image which is formed over the retina. Now the third point is transmission of nerve impulses from retina to the brain. Now the light energy of the image produces. Now the image which is formed on retina, the light energy present in that image, it produces certain chemical changes in the sensory receptors present on retina. Sensory receptors means rods and cones. So the light energy of the image, it produces chemical changes in rods and cones present there. These rods and cones, they generate nerve impulse through those chemical changes. Means these rods and cones, they convert those chemical changes in the form of impulse, and this impulse is carried by optic nerve to the cerebrum, to the occipital lobe of the cerebrum. So the impulse which is generated here, it is carried by optic nerve to the cerebrum where they give the sensation of sight. Now in this way impulse reaches our brain. Now interpretation by the brain. Once the impulse reaches the brain, our brain interprets the image in many ways. Example, it sees the object upright even if the image formed in the eye is inverted. Now the image which was formed on retina was real and inverted. But when it reaches the brain, it reaches in the form of impulse. So our brain is going to interpret it in always upright position. So in this way we are able to see the things. Now next is accommodation. Accommodation means viewing object in sharp focus. To see an object clearly, its image should be in sharp focus in each eye. And this process of focusing the objects to see them clearly at different distances is called accommodation. We call it as accommodation. Means accommodation is the ability of our eye to adjust its focal length for nearby object as well as distance object to form a sharp image on retina to see it clearly. So to focus the object, there are certain changes which takes place in our eye lens. What are those? For distance vision, the lens is to be more flattened, that is, it is to be more thin. And for near vision, that is, for the vision less than 6 meter, the lens becomes more convex, means more round or curved. Now how these changes are brought in our eyes? These changes, they are brought in our eye by ciliary muscles. ciliary muscles, as you have studied earlier, ciliary muscles help in altering the shape of the lens so that it can change its focal length to view the object placed at different distances. In normal condition, in normal condition, our eye is adapted to view distant objects. So in that condition, in normal condition, our lens is thin, means more stretched, or we can say flat, due to contraction of suspensory ligament, and this position the ciliary muscles are relaxed. So in normal condition, ciliary muscles are relaxed and lens, it remains stretched, that is lens is flat due to contraction of suspensory ligament, and this flat or that stretched lens give accurate focal length to view distant object. Now this is the part, these are the ciliary muscles and this is suspensory ligament. For viewing distant object, ciliary muscles are relaxed and suspensory ligament is contract, making the lens thin to view distant object. Now to look nearby, to look the objects which are at the distance less than 6 meter. For that, these ciliary muscles, they contract. When ciliary muscles are going to contract, they are going to pull the lens forward, making it more curved. At the same time, when ciliary muscles contract, suspensory ligament relax, making the lens more curved, and it changes its focal length to view the nearby object clearly. So by making the lens thin or thick, our eye adjusts itself, or eye lens adjusts itself to view the object which are placed at different distance, and this power of our eye is called as power of accommodation. Hope everything is clear to you. Now next we are going to start with light and dark adaptation. When you pass from a brightly lighted area to a dark room, such as a cinema hall, you experience difficulty in seeing object for a short while. Why? Because when our eyes are in the bright light, the pupil of the eyes shrink in order to allow less light to enter the eyes. And at that time, when we are in bright light, the cone cells are working with iodopsin pigment. So as we move to the dark, the pupil needs to expand in order to allow more light to pass through it, so that we can see the things clearly. And there will be regeneration of rhodopsin pigment by rods to see in the dark. So for the time being, these two changes are taking place in our eye. For that time being, we are not able to see the objects clearly. And as soon as these changes occur, the changes are regeneration of rhodopsin pigment to see the things in dark, and dilation of the pupil so that the more light can enter our eyes to view the object clearly. And these two changes brings, or they adapt our eyes to the dark. That's why we call these changes as dark adaptation. Now after that, like in a cinema hall, you watch movie for 3 hours, and after watching a movie, when you move out, so when a person with dark adapted eyes move to the brightly lighted area, as in coming out of the cinema hall after the noon show, he experiences a dazzling effect for a short time. Now why this dazzling effect? After coming out from a dark room, on exposure to bright sunlight, the pupil, which is still widely open, because earlier you were sitting in a cinema hall, so the size of the pupil was widened. So as the size of the pupil was widened, more light is entering the eye, and due to that light, the pigment which is present there, rhodopsin pigment, it will bleach out. It is degenerated, and that degeneration of rhodopsin pigment causes dazzling sensation in our eye. After a few seconds, we can again view things normally in the bright light because our eyes are now adapted to light, and the changes which are brought here in our eyes due to bright light, those changes are called as light adaptation. Now what are those changes? The changes in light adaptation are reverse of dark adaptation. Now these changes are: the first, the visual purple pigment, that is rhodopsin pigment of the rod, is bleached. It is degenerated because this pigment works only in dim light. And the another change, the pupil constrict, means it gets narrower to reduce the light entering the eyes. So the pupil of the eye constrict, gets narrower, so less amount of light can enter our eyes. And rhodopsin pigment is bleached, and iodopsin present in the cones again start working to help us to see the objects in light. Not only this, when we move to the bright light, the partial closure of our eyelid again help in reducing the dazzling effect. That is, it also help us to adapt our eyes in light. So the changes which takes place in our eye in dark are called dark adaptations, and the changes which takes place in our eye in bright light are called light adaptations. After this, the next is color vision. Color vision is possible only through cones. As you know, there are two types of sensory cells present on our retina: rods, which are sensitive to dim light only, and they do not help us to see the color. And another type of sensory receptors are cone cells. These cone cells, they get stimulated by bright light and also make us or help us to see the colors of the objects. So color vision is possible only due to the presence of cone cells on our retina. Cone cells present on our retina help us to see the different colors of the object, and this is the reason that at night we are not able to differentiate between different colors of the flower growing in a garden, because at night rod cells are stimulated, they are working, and they do not give us color vision. For color vision we need cone cells, and they get stimulated by bright light only. So revise it thoroughly. Next we are going to start with common defects of the eye.